I'm really excited today because I am putting together the Witches Brew kit from my Paper Craft Socials line and realizing that I don't think I've ever actually done one of these live for you all. My desk is a mess. We're going to talk about this pile of ribbon in a minute. So I wanted to show you all real quick before I dive into Witches Brew. I wanted to just give you a walkthrough of some of the other Paper Craft Socials albums that I have put together. Some of these aren't finished. I need a day where I just sit and finish them when I start samples. But this is the Life's a Beach. This is an accordion folder or accordion journal, memory keeper, album, call it whatever you want. So it's got these little accordion pages, and then in the back, it's got this little waterfall signature. This was a sample, so I ended up doing some double-sided. I ended up printing some on scrap paper. So this is one of them, not finished. I've got tons of embellishments and ribbon and stuff still to put in that one. This is Twilight Manor. So for those of you who are in OOAK, you saw this one last month. Got these cute little window peaks right there and right there. This is another accordion. This one's a little bit more put together. I've got some folders and some of the little envelopes with the cards, and I made this card double-sided and with a little hidden pocket so you could hide something in there, and then I put a little sticker on him. And then use some of my paper clips, use some small brads and some bling. This would be really cute for stickles too. Just a little tag there. Put too much glue on that pock folder. I like to use the paper clips for embellishments because you don't have to glue them in. So if you decide you want to do something later, you can do that. So again, another accordion journal, little folder, another little pocket. Again, not finished. And again, this little signature in the back here. And I need to have, yep, I did put the little thing. And then I put some bling on this one. So I want to put a little bit of that on the back. So that's that one. And then this is Moody Manor. This is just a little hidden tag album. So you've got this little tags with the room key that I added the little skeleton key to, this little tag. And in all of the kits, you've got more than enough paper. You could make all of your tags double-sided if you wanted to. And then it opens up like this. And you've got more tags and pockets. Little card you could write a little note on. If you've got a friend that has a Halloween birthday or something like that, this would be a really cute little card. Y'all, I am so bad about the glue with pockets and folders and stuff. I use way too much glue, and so then I have a hard time getting things in and out of the pocket. The ribbon is glued in between the front and back covers so that it hides, and then you can tie it like that. And then on the back here, we've got a pocket and more tags. Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? I have actually taken these and printed them out and turned them, laminated them and turned them into little bookmarks. Because I think they're just too cute. I need to get some of those up to my vendor space. So you've got this little one, cat and ghost in the bathtub. This is another hidden pocket. So you just glue it together on 3 sides to create your little pocket there, little folder there, and more little tags and journaling cards. I love this one. I think it's just adorable. If you are all about Halloween, which I am, that's not the one that goes in there. Then this one is super fun. So there's that one. This is called Sweater Weather. This is a bound journal. It's got the little truck pages. It's got some half pages here, and then there's more truck pages that I need to add in. There's 4 pages that look like the truck. All kinds of things to do to decorate this. And then once you get everything in, you string some ribbon in between the holes and tie it at the end to kind of give it that bound look. And then where's Clarabelle? Here's Clarabelle. Here's Clarabelle. This is a 3D fold-out card. So you've got your little Highland cow here, and she's 3D, and she opens up like this. And you've got all kinds of little pockets. I did a lot of 2 double-sided tags on this one. That. And some little folders and envelopes and other little tags. And then more on the back, little pockets. And there's little cards in for this one, like the others, that you can stick down in there. There's that. And then the last one before we get into Witches Brew, and I'll get all this freaking ribbon out of the way, is this one. And I love this so much. So some of you know, because you're in OOAK and I've talked about it. So I've started a membership for these kits. This is the November kit. So if you join before November 10th, you'll get this one. December is a Nutcracker accordion folder, but this is called I Am Grateful. It's a little Thanksgiving almost gratitude journal, junk journal. You've got this little waterfall over here. You've got this other section that opens up, and you've got flip outs. And then you've got another waterfall here. There's actually 2 more pages to the waterfall to put in there. And then I'm not done putting this one together either. All kinds of folders and pockets and tags. And then the other thing that's really cute that comes with this, if I can easily put my hands on it. And again, the ribbon, is glued in between the covers. My cover ribbon has gotten a little squished because I put her in I use these little poly zipper folders. I use little folders like this to keep all my kits in, and I put her in there and she got kind of squished. Have these little, I have one cut. If I can find it. I'm going to torture you all for too long with me digging around for this. See if I can just find the page. Here we go. So you have 2 pages of these in the kit, and you can cut them like this and fold them in half and glue them, or you can cut them each apart and glue them. Either way works. I've done both. And then you can put ribbon through them, but you can share these with people. So one of the things that I have been thinking about that I think would be really cool for this journal would be as a keepsake for somebody who is maybe hosting their first Thanksgiving, or for like your grandma or something like that for her Thanksgiving, where you put this together and you have these for everybody that's there, and you have them write something that they're thankful for, and then you put them all in the journal and gift them as part of part of this. You could also use this as like a guest book for a Thanksgiving. There's plenty of space and plenty of pages for people to be able to you know, write notes on and write cards, and put them in there and make it a little guest book. I just love the colors of this. I think it's just so pretty. So I'm going to work on getting that one. So I'm teaching that in 2 in-person classes in November, and then that's the what is it? That's the membership kit for November. I really should try to set up an online class for that for November too, because I wanted to do it for OOAK, but it's after Thanksgiving. The event is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So, hey Jean, how are you? So I knew that was going to be too late. All right. So today we are going to put together, or at least get started putting together this. This is Witches Brews, a little cauldron shaped, again, call it what you want, junk journal, creative album, memory keeper, doesn't matter. But this is the kit itself. This is what it looks like when it comes, and you get embellishments, you get ribbon, you get a video link to a tutorial, all of those kinds of things. And then, you know, you'll get these little binder clips and stuff like that, all kinds of things. And then there's plenty of extra embellishments you'll see as we're going through this to be able to use for any other kind of like crafting that you would want to do. So I already have everything for the most part cut out. Didn't want you all to sit here and watch me cut, because that's just boring. So we're going to kind of separate out a little bit of this real quick, and get some things out of my way. So I have, okay, so this venture into this paper crafting line, y'all, the ribbon is insane. I forget if it was you all I was talking to. I was doing something live recently. I was talking about how before I started my business, I was not much of a ribbon person for crafting. I mean, I had some for, you know, gift wrap. I had some for cards, some for scrapbooking, but what I had fit into like one small-ish size plastic tub. Then I started running a craft business, and the ribbon grew. And then I started carrying a line of paper crafting kits, and y'all, the ribbon has exploded in my house, which makes sense. That makes complete and total sense. It's exactly what you would expect when you're putting together journals that require ribbon and all the things like that. So, you know, I'm not complaining. I'm laughing because I think it's hilarious, and sort of like, yes, at some point in time, I have to sit down and deal with it all, because it's taken over a whole entire corner of my office. And it's kind of getting hard now for me to find things. Like when I'm looking for something specific, I really at least need to sort it. Okay, so let me get this stuff here. Where are my other cauldron covers? Oh, here they are. Okay. So the journal itself is a cauldron, right? So this is the front. This is the back. We have a little, this is our hole punch guide for getting everything, which we are going to do this last. I might not get this whole thing finished with you all today. So if not, I'll come back and finish it. But when we get to the point that we're going to hole punch, we're going to do this last because we want to get everything decorated and stuff and then punch the holes, because we don't want to have to punch holes again, because we want to position something in such a way that it covers one of the holes. And you have multiple options for your for the cover of your cauldron. Now, you don't have to do anything else to the cauldron, but the cool thing is if you add something else to it, you can make this a little pocket, and you can use that for tags or things like that. So you've got the witch like this, you've got the witch like this, and then we've got our favorite 3 witches like this. And so I'm using this one. And then you have another one that you can also use. Then you'll have other ones you can use on the back to make a little pocket on the back. So we're going to use those 2. I'm going to put those aside, and I'm going to get my ink dauber out, and we're going to ink this a little bit. Also, you know, inking the edges is not a requirement. That is completely personal preference. I like to do it, one, because it covers up where I did a bad cut job. So it covers any of that white paper that you can still see. But also, I just kind of like the look it gives, especially like on that I Am Thankful one, adding that brown to those edges just really gives it a nice rustic, vintagey, kind of antique look. So we'll alternate probably in this journal between black and purple. Maybe throw in a little bit of orange. I need a good green ink for something like this. So if you are with me live today, hello, I appreciate it. If you are watching me on replay, let me know. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them, or any questions, well, yes, comments too. But if you have any questions, please make sure you put them in the comments so that I can come back and answer anything. If there's something that I'm doing here that you're like, wait, what? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? I have written out instructions for this, so this is going to help me test those to make sure that my written instructions work. It takes me several times of putting one of these together to really feel like I know what I'm doing without having to. Sorry, I had to take a little drink of my Diet Coke there, without having to, you know, kind of reference my instructions. Now the accordion ones, I've done enough of those. We've had Life's a Beach and the Twilight Manor, and I've put together like 3 of the Life's a Beach and 2 of the Twilight Manor. So I feel like I pretty well know how to do that one by heart at this point. But some of these newer ones that I haven't done, and like this one is the only one we have of this style so far. So it's kind of new. So we just glued that down on 3 sides. Make sure you put your glue the right way so that when you glue it down, it glues the way you want it. And so I'm not going to mess with it too much till the glue dries, but then that's going to make a little pocket right there. I'm going to let that one dry, and then we're going to do the same thing here. This one doesn't matter quite as much what side you're talking about. Can't even tell if I'm getting glue on there. I am getting black ink all over my fingers, though. One downside. to, sometimes when I'm cutting these in preparation of like putting a sample together, I will cut. I'm trying to get in the habit of cutting and inking and then leaving it sit for a few days, because then I end up getting ink all over my fingers. Okay, so we've got that. That's our cover, right? So we are going to set this aside because we're not going to need this for a while. Okay. So, oh wait, we are going to need this. We are going to need this. Polka dot squares, right? These are, yep, sorry, I lied. So these 2 pages, and I always like to show people what it looks like in the kit. So your kits typically come, for the most part, laid out in order, right? So when you open your kit, the first thing you're going to find is the cauldron and your hole punch guide. And then you're going to have your covers, circles, except for the sisters. All of their stuff is in the back. So then you're going to have a page that looks like this, which is these 2 pieces, and these are your inside front cover and back cover, and then so on and so forth. Now, what you can do, if you wanted to, similar to how we did this one, and I'm curious. I wonder how much ribbon we would need once this gets really thick. But what if you wanted to have a ribbon closure on this, then what we'll do, and actually let's do that. I think I want to do that. And I think I want it to be this. How much of this do I have? So, oh yeah, I have about 21 inches of this. So we are going to cut this in half. Now this is a little tricky because it's lacy. So we're probably going to use some tape in addition to some glue. But if you wanted to create a ribbon closure for this journal, then what you would do is you would take, and we're going to turn this upside down, right? And we're going to take this piece of ribbon, and we're going to take some tape. This is just, you could use double-sided tape or just regular, doesn't matter, right? And then these, it doesn't matter which one of these you use for front or back. And then we're going to take our glue stick. I'm going to go over all of this here really well. And then I'm going to take some liquid glue, right, and go over this edge where the ribbon is. Oops. I moved so fast, I'm knocking things over. And then we're going to put this down, right? So we're going to let that dry a little bit. And I'm going to put a little glue on that side. Okay. And we're going to take a binder clip. I can find one. I'm going to take a binder clip, and I'm going to do that. Using I mean, y'all know this, using lacy ribbon is kind of hard with glue because there's not a lot to adhere to. And so we're going to let that binder clip sit on that. while we do the other side of the cauldron. Okay, so we're going to take, ooh, I messed that. Well, that's okay. I glued this down wrong, so it's kind of sideways, but that actually will work just fine. Okay, so we're going to take this, and I think this time I am going to use some double-sided tape. Just so this ribbon sticks to this piece a little bit better. There we go. And we might put a little bit more. Right here. And right here. Still might have to glue a little bit on the edges. Score tape. It's my skinny score tape. Let's see if I put a piece on there. Just really want to make sure we give a lot of stability to this ribbon so that as you're untying it and tying it, it doesn't give and tear your journal or come off or anything like that. It's one of the interesting things in doing these kits. So there's a there's a group of us that are what we call ambassadors for Paper Craft Social. So we're licensed to sell the kits, to teach classes with them. And as we've been kind of doing that, we get questions like, what do you do with these? And my thing is always, why do you have to do anything with it? It's just cute. Or it's just pretty. Like, does it have to be practical? But I mean, we've talked about and come up with, you know, a million different ideas and uses. And I'm actually using pages of the kits for different things. So like those bookmarks that I showed you. So these are bookmarks that I made out of the pages of the Nutcracker journal. That's the December kit. These are the back of them. And so I'm going to do more of that, as well as just little tags and things like that. So again, they don't really have to be practical. Ooh, I got that really close to the edge on this paper. That's okay. So what you'll have to do when we cut this is you'll have to be really careful how you trim around this edge so that you don't cut the ribbon, and we might have to go back and glue a little bit more. And we might realize that that was a bad idea. It didn't really work very well, but that's okay. That's what we experiment for. Okay. So again, we're just going to leave these alone for right now. Let them dry and stuff. That's all we really needed to do with those, just to get those square pieces out of our way. And now we're going to start putting the insides together. Okay, small pages are pockets. Okay. Right. And then these are our pages. Okay. So these two in your kit, so they look like this. The pages look like this in the kit, right? You've got some added embellishments on there. These are pockets. So we're going to go ahead and fold these and then glue them. And I'm going to fold them first because I feel like if they have a bit of a fold started, then when you have to kind of start bending and flexing once they've been glued, I just feel like they do that a little bit better. But that is optional. You do not have to do that. And we are going to ink the edges, but I'm not going to do that until we get them glued. I'll put the lid on my. So this is my favorite liquid glue. This is Tombow Aqua. This is the clear. And then their glue stick is killer. It is amazing. And I'll put a link to this. But on my website, but we are going to use the liquid glue because this is a pocket. On my website, there is a Paper Craft Socials tab, and in about the middle of that page is a link to another page that lists out kind of all of my favorite paper crafting products. So the glue is on there. What else is on there? The hole punches that I like, bone folder, distress inks, daubers, all of that kind of stuff. All of the stuff that to do these kinds of projects, to make cards and all that, that I just can't live without. So that is all on there. Those are all, almost all, Amazon affiliate links. I do make a small commission from each purchase, paid from Amazon, not you. If you have someone else that you know that is an Amazon affiliate, you are more than welcome to just look up the information and shop from their link. I'm all about people supporting their people. So, okay. So we've got these glued and got a little pocket. I will go back and glue this a little bit, you know, so that it's secure all the way at the top. I wanted to get it glued and have enough room to make sure that I had a pocket. I am very heavy-handed. We'll go ahead and do that now because I think I'm good. I'm very heavy-handed with liquid glue, which is actually why I prefer glue sticks in most cases. But I think I'm okay here. I'm learning with these to do a very thin little line there. Okay. So here's our top. So we are going to trim this up just a little bit. Oh, the link to these scissors. These are the best fussy cut scissors. I can't do this stuff with big scissors. The handles get in the way. So these are the Cutter Bee. Make sure I didn't cut where I had glue, which I've done before. Okay. And then we trim this one up. Make sure I'm cutting in the right place. go. This is the top of our pocket, so a little bit less of a issue, but might as well trim it up anyway because I'm working on that. And then we're going to, I'm going to use villainous. Do I have my villainous poison in here? I do not. Wilted violet it will be. Alright, I'm liking this little container for my daubers much better now that I have written on there what color each one is. Kind of a pain when I hadn't done that. Okay, so we're going to use some wilted violets. Since this is already kind of purple around the edge anyway. Actually, I think I do have a green somewhere. Now that I'm looking at that color. So this particular journal is pretty easy in terms of putting together. It doesn't have a whole lot of pages. It's really all about the decorating and embellishing. Which I might have to hop back on with you all this weekend to do. Ooh, maybe we'll finish this up. Kind of having to take our dog tomorrow to do the part echo has kind of hijacked my schedule, which is hijacking my schedule for Friday. I was planning on going live on Whatnot on Friday. So I was sitting here thinking if I don't get this finished, I could finish it up over on Whatnot, but I'm not sure I'm going to make it onto Whatnot on Friday. We will see. We will see. Okay, got that nice and inked up. And so those are our pockets. Put those aside for a second. Okay, and then we have these are the pages of the actual journal. You've got two different sizes. You've got these larger ones and these smaller ones, and these just get folded in half and glued, but you want to glue them just on three sides, and you want to keep your top open again because we want to make these pockets, because there are pages and pages in this journal of tags and other kinds of ephemera, and you want to be able to utilize those in the pages of the album and then kind of create this look with ribbon just coming out from everywhere. Let that dry. Glue each one of these down. Use my foam folder to get a nice good crease. Glue everywhere. Oh, I should have lit my candle. I have a candle in my room here that has a label on the front that says it's just a bunch of hocus pocus. That would have been pretty appropriate to have going. while I was working on this journal. Ooh, excited. Okay, so I ordered one of the things that I didn't have that I realized the other day that I wanted when I put this together was some 4-inch and 2-inch ribbon to be able to make pockets out of ribbon on some of these pages. And so I went and ordered some really cute ones. Again, more ribbon. Like I needed to order more ribbon, but I ordered some really cute ones on Amazon. And I think that might have just gotten delivered. Along with a myriad number of other things. My husband's going to be like, what in the hell? I don't know. You can use binder clips on the edges of these pages to hold down the glue to kind of help it stabilize while it dries. We do that on those accordion folders because you have 6 sets of those accordion pages, and trying to get those glued together and get them to bend and all of that kind of stuff takes some work, and using the binder clips to hold the pages together while you're attaching other pages and all that kind of stuff is very helpful. Paper clips work as well. Binder clips are good because they put good pressure on the pages, kind of like holding that ribbon down on a cover. Okay, so we're going to let those dry, and then we'll trim them and ink the edges and stuff. What I want to do while that's happening is I want to go ahead and cut the cauldron. I'm not going to hole punch yet, but I want us to be able to have these covers while we are figuring out how we want our pages to go in the journal, because you have these little square pockets and then you have these alternating size pages, and you can kind of put them together in multiple different ways. And I think for the visual element of it, having your covers as part of that as you're thinking it through is helpful. At least for me, I'm too visual. Like I have to be able to kind of see the whole thing to figure out how do I want it laid out. I'm going to have to touch up my glue here on some of these edges. And then this is going to tell us whether or not adding this ribbon closure was a bad idea. See how well I can trim around it without cutting the ribbon, messing up the pages, inside covers here. Okay, so that was my 45-minute warning. Okay, I'm going to give myself 10 more minutes. I do have something at 1. I was hoping to get on here a little bit earlier, but getting the call this morning that that they were able to get Loki in for his echo tomorrow kind of threw me off, because then I had a whole bunch of stuff I had to take care of to make that work. The other thing that you can do, I'll show you here in a second, So I'll trim this up a little better. But if you have some white still visible, that is hard to trim up, but then also hard to cover with ink because of where it is. I do have the little, the mini daubers from Tim Holtz that I need to get out because I think they would help in this situation. But you can take a Sharpie. Where is my... Oh, I took it with me yesterday. I have a black Sharpie that has like a little smaller tip to it. So you can take a Sharpie, right, and just go along the edge, kind of like you would inking it. And then that fills in that space. So like I have some, I think I posted a picture of them in here the other day, those little pumpkin spice latte kind of themed gift tags that I've been working on. I've got some spots where, my cut job wasn't great. I can't really trim it up better than how it already is because of the edges and stuff. And it's not inking perfectly because of the curves. So I'm just going to take either a brown Sharpie or my Tim Holtz Distress crayons or something like that, and go over those particular spots. Okay, so we got it. Glue some here. If I have spots where my glue stick, maybe I didn't get enough, or the glue stick dried too fast, like before I got everything in place, then I will take my Tombow, because it's got this nice little pin tip on it, and go back and kind of fill it in and make sure that I've got glue all where I need it to hold everything together. I'm gonna try to trim this up a little more on this edge here. And add just a little purple ink to this. On the bottom here. So I did ink this, but then, sort of trimming it up now has cut away some of that. And then I'm gonna come over here. I don't want to trim, well, maybe I should try to look on both sides to see where I might need to trim things up. But this is also where a marker or a Sharpie or something like that will be helpful. Now, if this would bug you, then doing a ribbon closure might not be the best idea, although we could possibly put a tag here to cover. So because of the ribbon, I couldn't trim all the way on the inside, right? So we've got this visible white. Now, I could try to cover that with some ink. Not bad, right? But I can also try to cover it with a tag or some sort of embellishment, which I think will probably work just fine. Okay, so we have our front cover. We're going to work with this for now because I'm mindful of time. And we are going to do want to ink these edges, because if I don't do it now, I will forget, and then I'll have this all put together and realize that I didn't ink my edges. I think we inked the edges of these actually. So let's ink the edges of the house. I'm going to use black for that. Oh my goodness. Y'all, my stomach's growling. That's embarrassing. I'm so sorry. I had breakfast. Actually, well, I didn't finish my breakfast. It's sitting here next to me, which is part of the problem. Hoping in the video y'all can't hear that. Back over this side. Not a lot of visible white on this side, which is good. So we're just going to ink a little bit just for the visual effect here. And then, now this top is the pocket, right? So we don't need to worry about that too much. Ooh, I did not get my glue all the way to the edge here. So let's fix that real quick. The nice thing about this Tombow with the pin tip, can get in those smaller spaces. Get that glue in there. Well, goodness, I did not do a very good job on this one at all. I'll let that sit for a second and dry some before I do anything else with it. So I created the event in the group for our official workshop. So we're going to do a chalk couture layering workshop on not next Wednesday, but following, and I cannot remember what that date is. Should be the 29th, I think. So that event is created, and I am going to create a couple of different cart links. I'm not sure what I'm going to be using yet to sort of show you all that technique. So I'm going to create a couple of different cart links for suggestions, things you might want to consider. And I will actually try and go ahead and do that tonight, since there is that free shipping offer for today and tomorrow, and then because I'm doing my little giveaway as well. So if you would like to sort of have a project in mind, or have some things to use during that workshop, you can go ahead and can get those things. You might already have a background transfer with maybe a design or some words that you would like to layer on top of it. But if you don't, or would like some ideas so you can look at what you have, I'll go ahead and get that together. I'm just flinging stuff around. Good thing there is nothing breakable sitting on this desk right now. Okay. Get this inked up. And we'll walk through what it looks like and decide on how we want the pages to go. And then I'll give you some ideas of how you can embellish. And then I will have to jump off for my 1 o'clock. But if nothing else, when it's finished, I will hop back on and show you all what it looks like. But I'd like to, even if I'm only on for like 15-20 minutes, I'd like to make some decisions about what I want where and kind of show you all of your various options. Okay, so here's your pages. Again, you've got two this size, two this size, and you've got your pockets. So the idea, one of the ways you can do this is to alternate. Now, you are going to have and again, this is why we're not hole punching until we're done. You know, you might have a little bit of some of the pages stick out from the bottom of the cauldron, right? And that's okay. So one of the ways that you can do this is to do a pocket, one of the little square pockets, one of the small pages, one of the big pages, and then the square pocket, small page, big page, right? And then you'll do your back cauldron. You will have binder rings. Where's the cover for this? I can show you all. I didn't get those out because I knew we wouldn't get there today. Should be right here. Yeah. The binder rings to close on this side, and this is just extra ribbon and, you know, kind of close it on one side. So that's how you'll hold it together. You could also do, you know, your small, medium, and large together, right? Or, you know, you could do small, medium, large, large, medium, small. You do it like that. So there's no right or wrong way. It's completely up to you. And to be perfectly honest, it's not even something you have to decide before you start decorating. You can do all of your decoration, and then depending on how you have decorated it, you can then decide how you want your pages to go. Now, this pile right here, let me get this all out. This pile right here, all of the stuff, right, is all of the embellishments that come in this kit, not including the like couple of pages of things for the three sisters. So we're going to flip through the actual kit itself real quick so you all can see everything. So these are our pages. And then on some of your pages, you have these embellishments. Now, I haven't cut all of these out. These are all still intact. I'll cut them when I decide where I want to put them. You've got these little folders. It's these right here. You've got 31 multiple times. You've got spell out Halloween. Tags and folders. You can do all kinds of double-sided stuff and layered stuff with these. You have these little embellishments that you can make tags or tuck down into pockets. You've got these that cut, fold in half, so they're automatically double-sided. All of that. You've got envelopes. These are supposed to simulate wax seals, so you could put that, you know, on the envelope with a little Velcro closure behind it, so it looks like a wax seal when it's closed. You've got all these little tags and embellishments and flags that you can put on pages. All these that can tuck down into pockets and then layer embellishments on top of them. These you can put actual pictures in, or cut, I think these little round circles of the sisters might actually fit in there. That's what I was going to try. But if you put the frame on top of the black and then only glue it on 3 sides, then you've got room to slide an actual picture in. You've got more of the stuff from the Three Sisters. So just so much that you can do here in terms of embellishing. And so I like layers. I like double-sided. I'm gonna try to find one of these little. So like one of the things you can do on these is, you know, you can layer like that. So you've got a layered pocket. These are cute, you know, for this. And you've got these kinds of slanted pockets, right? That you can put on either side there for these. And, you know, you can put them in the center or you can put it off to the side. And on some of these, they're tall enough that if you actually wanted to put it sideways and slide stuff in and out that way and put a, you know, ribbon on a side, you could do that. Got these that aren't cut at all. The other thing with these is you can make them double-sided tags, right? Just hole punch in, put something on top of it, like make a little dangle with something like this, and then make that a little tag. So I'm not going to get started because I can't finish, and I'm going to want to finish. So that is that. I'm going to come back on here so I can see. Well, I can't see you all. You can see me as we finish up here. So thanks for hanging out with me for a little while. Let me know what you think. I'll put a link in the comments on where you can find more information about these kits and see what all is available. I think I am, let me look real quick. I think everything we've got out right now is listed for the most part. I mean, I have some spring stuff that's not listed just because it's not seasonal, but everything for fall and holiday is listed. The Nutcracker is listed. The Nutcracker is going to be the December kit for my membership. The membership pricing is cheaper than what you'll pay for the kit. There is a Gingerbread Dreams journal that's holiday that I am thankful is there. Got some other holiday themed stuff coming soon. So all the information is there. I will drop that link in the video description from today. So if you have questions, let me know. And I'll drop information about the giveaway in the group later as well. So yeah, so pay close attention to the group over the next couple of days. I'm going to be dropping some cool stuff in there. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being here, being part of the group. I appreciate you very much. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.